Disappointment is a universal experience. It sneaks into our lives uninvited, reminding us of our vulnerabilities and the expectations we carry. But what if I told you that the key to navigating disappointment isn't to react, but to pause, reflect, and respond with acceptance, not weakness, but strength? When someone lets you down, the instinctive reaction is to retaliate, withdraw, or wallow. But reacting this way gives power to the moment and to the person who caused it. What if, instead, you chose acceptance, not to condone the behavior, but to reclaim your emotional energy? Acceptance isn't about being passive, it's about being powerful. It's about confusing those who expect you to lash out. It's about showing that your peace is not up for negotiation. When you accept, you're saying, I see what happened. It doesn't define me. It won't control me. This approach doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. Feel them, process them, but don't let them dictate your actions. Confusion arises when people expect a reaction and instead encounter grace. They don't know how to respond because you've stepped into a higher version of yourself, one that values self-worth over momentary victories. Confusion isn't the goal, clarity within yourself is. When you react with acceptance, you gain the clarity to decide whether to rebuild the bridge, set boundaries, or walk away. So the next time someone disappoints you, breathe. Pause. Accept. Confuse them with your calm, not for their benefit, but for yours. In doing so, you prove that your resilience is untouchable and your peace is sacred. Disappointment is universal. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about your status, your age, or your accomplishments. Everyone faces it at some point in some way. It arrives unannounced in moments when you least expect it. A missed opportunity, a broken promise, a failure to meet expectations, yours or someone else's. It's a shared human experience woven into the fabric of our lives. But here's the thing about disappointment. It's not just about the moment it strikes. It's about what happens next. For some, it feels like a weight pressing down, heavy and unrelenting. For others, it's a fleeting pang, a sharp sting that fades as quickly as it came. But for all of us, it's a reminder of our expectations, our hopes, and sometimes our vulnerabilities. Disappointment is like a mirror. It reflects not just the situation, but also our response to it. How we react in those moments says so much about who we are and what we value. It's tempting to lash out, to place blame, to demand explanations. But what if instead of reacting, we paused? What if we took a moment to sit with the discomfort, to truly feel it, and then to let it pass? Disappointment, when viewed this way, becomes less of an enemy and more of a teacher. It teaches us about resilience. It teaches us about grace. And it teaches us about connection. Because when we remember that disappointment is universal, we also remember that we're not alone. We're all navigating a world where things don't always go as planned, where people, including ourselves, fall short of expectations. And in that shared struggle, there's a strange kind of beauty, a quiet understanding that binds us together. Disappointment is universal. It's something we all face, but it's also something we all overcome. Every single day, avoid instinctive reactions. When disappointment strikes, your first impulse might be to retaliate, to lash out, to defend yourself, or to make the other person feel the sting you've just felt. Or maybe you withdraw, you shut down, pull away, and close yourself off from the situation entirely. Both reactions feel natural in the moment. They're immediate, reflexive, and raw. But they come at a cost. Retaliation fuels the fire. It escalates tension, creating a cycle of negativity that spirals out of control. It shifts your focus from healing to harming, from understanding to anger. And often it leaves you feeling worse than before. Withdrawal, on the other hand, isolates you. It may feel like self-preservation, but it can lead to lingering resentment. It leaves words unspoken and feelings unresolved, turning the pain inward. Both approaches drain your energy. They consume your thoughts, your emotions, and your strength. They amplify the negativity, stretching a fleeting moment into something far heavier. But what if you chose a different path? What if instead of reacting, you paused? What if you allowed yourself to feel the disappointment without being consumed by it? A pause gives you space. Space to breathe. Space to process. And space to respond with intention rather than impulse. It's not easy to resist instinct. It takes courage to break the cycle of retaliation. It takes strength to stay present and not retreat, but in that choice lies power. Power to shift the narrative, power to maintain your peace, and power to respond in a way that reflects your values, not your pain. Avoid instinctive reactions, because you deserve more than fleeting impulses. You deserve clarity, calm, and control. Reframe acceptance as strength. When someone disappoints you, acceptance might feel like surrender, like giving up, like letting them win. But that's not what acceptance truly is. It's not weakness. It's not passive. It's a deliberate choice. A conscious decision to prioritize your peace over the chaos of reaction. Acceptance says, I see what happened, I acknowledge it, but I won't let it define me. It's standing firm in the face of hurt, refusing to be consumed by it. It's recognizing that you can't control others, only yourself. Acceptance isn't about condoning the disappointment. It doesn't mean you agree with the actions or the outcome. It means you're choosing to let go of what you can't change. It's not resignation, it's clarity. Clarity that your energy is better spent moving forward. Clarity that your worth isn't tied to someone else's actions. Clarity that your peace matters more than proving a point. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It's the calm in the storm. The ability to face disappointment with grace instead of aggression. The courage to choose peace over conflict. Acceptance can confuse those who expect you to react. It can disarm those who rely on your anger to justify their actions. But their confusion isn't the goal. The goal is freedom. Freedom from the burden of resentment. Freedom from the need to explain or defend yourself. Freedom to move forward with strength and self-respect. Reframing acceptance as strength changes everything. It's a shift in perspective that empowers you. It reminds you that choosing peace isn't weakness. It's the ultimate display of power. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. It doesn't mean you're okay with what happened. It doesn't mean you agree with the choices someone made or the pain they caused. Acceptance is something deeper. It's acknowledging reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. It's looking at the situation and saying, this happened and I can't change that. But here's the critical part: acceptance doesn't excuse the behavior. It doesn't erase accountability. It doesn't make what was wrong suddenly right. What it does is free you from the struggle of resistance. Because resisting the truth, wishing it were different, only keeps you stuck. Stuck in anger, stuck in frustration, stuck in the endless loop of why did this happen? Acceptance is about breaking that loop. It's about choosing to move forward instead of staying trapped in what can't be undone. It's not about letting someone off the hook. It's about letting yourself off the hook of carrying the weight of what you can't control. When you accept, you're not giving permission. You're giving yourself permission to heal, to set boundaries if needed, to demand better if necessary, to leave if that's what's best for you. Acceptance is active. It's a step toward clarity, not complacency. It allows you to separate the person from their actions, to see the behavior for what it was: hurtful, disappointing, but not let it define you. You can accept and still choose to hold someone accountable. You can accept and still decide to walk away. You can accept and still say, this is not okay, because acceptance isn't approval. It's a choice to protect your peace while navigating a world that won't always meet your expectations. It's strength wrapped in understanding. It's freedom wrapped in resilience. And it's yours to claim without compromise. Confusion disrupts patterns. People expect reactions. They expect anger. They expect defensiveness. They expect you to mirror the hurt they caused. It's a pattern we've seen over and over again. Action followed by reaction. Hurt followed by retaliation. It's predictable. It's familiar. But when you respond with grace, something unexpected happens. The pattern breaks. Grace is disarming. It's calm when they anticipate chaos. It's understanding when they expect resistance. It's strength when they mistake kindness for weakness. This disruption creates confusion, not because you're playing a game, but because grace isn't what the world is used to. It shifts the narrative. It moves the focus from the conflict to the resolution. It challenges them to see you in a new light, to question their assumptions about how people should respond. And in that moment of confusion, something profound can happen. Space is created, space for reflection, for self-awareness, for the possibility of growth, not just for them, but for you. Because grace isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about staying true to who you are. It's about reclaiming your power in a situation designed to unsettle you. People may not know how to respond to your grace. They may feel uncomfortable. They may even feel remorse. But their reaction isn't the point. The point is that you've chosen a higher path. You've stepped out of the cycle of negativity. You've chosen clarity over chaos. Grace is powerful because it's unexpected. It's transformative because it's rare. And it's liberating because it frees you from the burden of retaliation. Confusion disrupts patterns. And grace, in its quiet strength, changes the story. Focus on emotional clarity. In the aftermath of disappointment, emotions can feel overwhelming. Anger, hurt, frustration. They come rushing in, swirling together, clouding your thoughts. It's easy to get lost in them, to let them take over, consuming your energy and your peace. But acceptance changes that. Acceptance creates space. It allows you to see your feelings for what they are, not as enemies, not as something to fight or suppress, but as signals. Signals that something matters to you. Signals that you're human. Acceptance doesn't erase those emotions. It doesn't make them disappear. But it gives you the clarity to process them, to sit with them without being swept away, to understand where they're coming from and what they're trying to tell you. Clarity helps you separate the feeling from the story you tell yourself about it. Anger might say, "This isn't fair." Hurt might whisper, "I deserved more." Frustration might shout, "Why didn't they care?" But clarity lets you hear the deeper truth beneath those words, that you value fairness, that you long for connection, that you want to feel seen and respected. When you accept your emotions, you stop fighting them, you stop fearing them. Instead, you let them flow through you, knowing they don't define you. They're part of your experience, but they're not the whole story. Acceptance lets you respond, not react. It lets you choose your next step with intention, not impulse. It gives you the freedom to acknowledge your pain without being controlled by it. Emotional clarity is a gift you give yourself. It's the foundation of resilience, the cornerstone of peace. And it starts with acceptance. Acceptance allows you to feel without being consumed, to understand without being overwhelmed, and to move forward with a clear heart and a steady mind. Empowerment through control. Disappointment tempts you to react, to yell, to cry, to lash out or retreat. It pulls at your emotions, begging for a response. But every reaction costs you something. It hands over a piece of your power. When you react impulsively, the situation controls you. It dictates your mood. It hijacks your energy. It clouds your clarity. But what if you didn't react? What if you paused instead? What if you chose to sit with the feelings rather than act on them? In that pause lies power. It's not about suppressing how you feel. It's about recognizing that your emotions are valid, but they don't have to take the wheel. Not reacting is an act of strength. It's a refusal to let the situation define you. It's choosing how you show up instead of being pulled in every direction. When you control your response, you retain your peace. You hold on to your energy. You decide how to navigate forward. The power isn't in the emotion itself. It's in what you do with it. In the moments of silence where you breathe instead of retaliate. In the moments of stillness where you reflect instead of react. Control doesn't mean shutting down. It means taking ownership of your emotional state. Choosing calm over chaos, perspective over impulse. By not reacting, you create space. Space to think, space to process, space to decide how you want to move forward. And in that space, empowerment grows. Empowerment isn't about avoiding the hurt. It's about deciding not to let it control you. It's reclaiming your story, your energy, your peace. Because true strength is quiet. It's intentional. And it starts with you. By not reacting, you remind yourself and the world who holds the power. Choose response over reaction. In moments of disappointment, the instinct to react is strong. The sting of hurt, the rush of anger, the pull to say something, anything just to fill the space. But reactions are quick. They're raw. They come from the heat of the moment, not the clarity of thought. And more often than not, they leave regret in their wake, a word spoken too harshly, an action taken too hastily. But a response is deliberate, it's measured. It comes not from impulse, but from intention. Choosing to respond means taking a pause, breathing, giving yourself the space to process what you're feeling. It means asking, what outcome do I want from this? What aligns with my values? A thoughtful response creates something that a reaction can't, constructive outcomes. It turns conflict into conversation. It builds bridges instead of burning them. It allows for understanding, even in the face of disagreement. When you respond thoughtfully, you don't just respect the situation. You respect yourself. You show that your emotions, while valid, don't control you, that your peace isn't dictated by external events. This isn't about being passive or letting things slide. It's about being purposeful. It's about owning your narrative instead of letting the moment own you. A response gives you power. Power to steer the situation in a direction that reflects your strength, your grace, your integrity. Choosing to respond over react doesn't mean the disappointment hurts any less, but it means you handle it on your terms. And that's where self-respect grows. In the quiet moments where you choose calm over chaos, perspective over impulse, strength over surrender. Because the way you respond says more about you than the disappointment ever could. Redefine the relationship. Disappointment often forces you to reevaluate, to ask hard questions, to look closely at the dynamics that brought you to this moment. It's not just about what happened. It's about what it means for the connection you share. This is your choice, your moment to decide what comes next. Do you rebuild trust? Trust isn't given, it's earned. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes a mutual commitment to growth and honesty. If the relationship holds value, if the person is willing to do the work, rebuilding is possible. But trust is fragile. It requires consistency. And not everyone can offer that. So sometimes you establish boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they're guidelines. They're the lines you draw to protect your peace, to define what you will and won't accept. They're a way of saying, I value this connection, but I also value myself. Boundaries aren't about punishment, they're about clarity. They create space for respect, for healthier interactions, for growth, if both parties are willing. And then there's the hardest choice of all, walking away. Sometimes the trust is too broken. The boundaries are too often crossed. The disappointment cuts too deep. Choosing to leave isn't failure. It's recognizing that holding on may cause more harm than letting go. Walking away can be an act of love for yourself, a declaration that you deserve better, that your worth isn't tied to someone else's behavior. This is your power, to redefine the relationship on your terms, to decide what aligns with your values, what nurtures your well-being, what allows you to move forward with clarity and peace. Redefining doesn't erase the past, but it shapes the future. It honors the lessons learned. And it reminds you that every connection is a choice, one you are strong enough to make. Guard your peace. In moments of disappointment, it's easy to feel shaken, to feel like the world around you is unraveling. But your inner calm is yours to protect. It's your greatest asset. Your peace isn't something that just happens. It's something you actively choose and nurture. It's not about avoiding discomfort. It's about staying anchored amidst the storm. Your emotional well-being is your responsibility. No one else can protect it for you. No one else can shield you from life's ups and downs. But you have the power to decide how much space those disappointments get in your life. You don't have to let external chaos steal your peace. You can choose how to respond. You can create space to process your feelings without letting them control you. Guarding your peace doesn't mean shutting down. It means setting boundaries around your emotional space. It means recognizing when a situation is draining you and stepping back before it overwhelms you. It means not allowing someone else's turmoil to consume your calm. Your peace is sacred. It's the foundation from which you can make clear decisions. Respond with intention instead of reaction. Choose your words with care. Make decisions that align with your values, not your emotional impulses. When you guard your peace, you give yourself room to grow, to learn from disappointment without being defined by it. You choose to hold on to your center, even when everything around you feels unsettled, because your inner calm allows you to move forward. It keeps you grounded when life feels uncertain. It is the quiet strength that enables you to navigate through challenges with clarity. Your peace is not negotiable. It is your greatest asset, and it is worth protecting. So in every moment of disappointment, protect it fiercely. Guard it as the foundation from which you rise. In the end, disappointment is inevitable. It will come in different forms and at unexpected times. But how you choose to respond, how you choose to guard your peace defines your path. Your emotional state is yours to protect, and your inner calm is your greatest strength. When you stop reacting from a place of hurt and start responding with clarity, you take back your power. You choose healing over hurt, strength over chaos, and peace over turmoil. So when disappointment knocks, remember this: you have the ability to redefine the situation, to set your boundaries, and to protect your peace. This is your journey, and you control how you navigate it, with grace, with intention, with peace.